It's a criminal case that is captivating Australia. The so-called mushroom murder trial. A suburban Australian mom accused of killing 3 of her husband's relatives by poisoning them with death cap mushrooms served in a home-cooked beef Wellington. Erin Patterson has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. ABC News' foreign correspondent Britt Clennett is tracking this story from Hong Kong. And Britt, give us some context here. What do prosecutors say her motive was in all of this?
Hi, Alex. Yeah, Erin Patterson is a 50-year-old mother of 2. She stands accused of murdering the parents and aunt of her ex-husband, Simon. Now, he actually backed out of this ill-fated lunch. Prosecutors say Patterson, who was separated from but on good terms with her husband, she invited his parents, aunt and uncle over for lunch to discuss medical issues that she says she was facing. Now, all 4 of Patterson's lunch guests were hospitalized with severe stomach issues the day after the meal. 3 of them died the following week, all from altered liver function, multiple organ failure due to mushroom poisoning. Now, Erin Patterson, she has always maintained her innocence. Her lawyers say the death cap mushroom poisoning, it's tragic and it was a terrible accident. But this trial, Alex, now in its 4th week, is happening in this very small regional town just outside of Melbourne. And local reporters say that most of the time she has worn a calm, neutral expression that gives very little away, even when the judge makes a joke to cut the tension in the courtroom. Other than not guilty, Miss Patterson, she hasn't said a word yet in the trial, nor has she needed to, really. You know, the burden of proof very much rests squarely with the prosecution, as always, and that bar, it is extremely high when it comes to convincing a jury that someone is guilty beyond reasonable doubt, in this case, of poisoning her relatives with a toxic beef Wellington.
Well, and Britt, there was a big focus on her computer. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so a look at the search history on her computer in her house showed that it had been actually used to visit websites that listed sightings of death cap mushrooms by kind of, people who are nature enthusiasts, you might say. The court also, we heard from the investigator who is the final prosecution witness. He said that phone records indicate that a SIM card was switched while police were searching her phone, her home rather. Also, that the phone that she primarily used in the months leading up to this lunch, it was never actually found by police. She also sent multiple text messages to her mother-in-law about health issues and medical appointments that police found no record of her ever actually having. On another day, digital forensic analyst, he said that pictures of yellowy dried mushrooms in a food dehydrator were found on a Samsung tablet. Previously, her estranged husband, Simon, he spoke of this witty, very intelligent woman he fell in love with. He also described his ex-wife as someone who could be argumentative and capable of inflammatory behavior. But the sole lunch guest who survived this lunch was Pastor Ian Wilkinson, rather. He's Simon's estranged husband's the estranged husband's uncle. Now, Mr. Wilkinson said that his wife Heather gratefully accepted an invite to Miss Patterson's place for lunch. He said, despite not quite understanding the reason for it. So lots of twists and turns in this, but this is the last prosecution witness, as I say, Alex. So we are getting closer to the end.
So many questions. Britt, thank you so much for that update.